I think this game's been extremely active recently with discoveries and just all the top players playing, so it's kind of shifted from just being about the big skips to really optimizing the movement. We've had new tech being discovered, a few new tricks. It's pretty insane.
Right off the bat, here's something to explain. The timers you see below the game feeds are the built-in in-game timer, and those take out all the loading times so that timing is fair across all PC configurations. And that's what's used for timing on the leaderboards as well as for the race tonight.
Yeah, so they're probably going to be offset in real time, but that won't matter. All that matters is the timer that's on top. So they've been collecting yarn, 2 yarn in this level. They do that so that they can stitch the sprint head during this cutscene. Sprint head just lets you run fast. They're also going to be getting a few other heads later on in the run. They're going to need yarn for those too. They also got 5 pawns in that level. They need those pawns to unlock She Came From Outer Space first, before doing Barrel Battle. That's because they're going to get the Brewer hat in this level.
So this game has individual chapters with many different acts inside of them, and we'll be going from chapter to chapter in a bit out of order, but we'll explain more on that coming up here. So you notice he got hit by both of these runners got hit by the crow and managed to dupe a ticket. If you get hit by an enemy and then grab a ticket during your invincibility frames, you can actually dupe it. And that's used for basically all of the ticket sections we come across in the speedrun. It's a very interesting strat. The yarn that the runners also collect is used for crafting the hats.
Yeah, and once again, they can do it during a cutscene. That's because while you're crafting the hat, the gameplay is still going if you unpause. So they want to do it when there's nothing else going on the screen.
This part here is slightly luck-based in the fact that, and how many pawns the Mafia guy drops. You can get between 3 and 5 pawns, and of course you always want to get as many as you can.
So far it seems like their loads are actually pretty synced, and so is their gameplay. I'm not even sure who's ahead.
Looks like John's very slightly ahead by about a second.
Half a second actually, it looks like.
This is pretty intense.
It's gonna be a real good race. So now they're gonna use that brewer hat that they made on this level to save quite a bit of time. This is the first boss level, but it's not really a boss. It's more of an auto-scroller, really. This RTA sync is just beautiful.
Yeah, this is amazing. Perfectly synced right now. Look at that.
So now this Mafia guy, he's just gonna throw barrels, and he tells you to stand still, but you really can just stand still and avoid all his barrels because there's a safe spot. Can't save or lose time on this section. It just keeps going.
This is just a perfect sync right now. I love it.
The timers too.
Yeah. So in a few minutes or a few seconds here, John will be using the brew hat to get the Mafia guy to run down this a little bit faster than intended.
So after this timepiece, there's going to be a cutscene that starts playing. Normally, a lot of this game's cutscenes, they'll just be automatically skipped, but this one you have to return to hub in order to skip it. There are also unskippable cutscenes. Luckily, that one's not one of them.
Coming up here is the first boss fight in the run, and there's going to be many interesting things done here. We'll see if either runner gets the double hit here with the Mafia. If you're positioned in the perfect spot, you can get a double hit on those Mafia, and that saves probably a second at most.
Heard that it is harder on 720p. Just the random fact.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah, this game has some really weird stuff. Makes the leaderboard rules kind of complicated. So they're just going through collecting pawns. They're gonna make their way over to this red carpet room. And they're gonna do a fight skip here. This saves 4 to 5 seconds. It jumps over 2 different cutscenes and a fight to get to the Mafia boss quicker.
Looks like both runners successfully executed that.
Yep. This race is still extremely close.
Yeah.
So in this fight, the Mafia boss can give a variable number of sandbags and angry attacks. The sandbags waste 6 seconds, the angry attacks waste 1.5. You can get 2 extra of each, and it's completely random based on his attack order. So you can waste up to 15 seconds just based on RNG.
Isn't that amazing?
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really paying attention to how many sandbags they have. Maybe I should write it down next time.
Unfortunately, I was not either.
I think John got better RNG though, because they went into the fight tied and now they're not.
Yeah, he's finishing well before Fuff here.
Yeah, I think John got a 2-cycle, because 219 you need a 2-cycle for that. Fuff probably got a 3-cycle. But I'm just guessing.
After the fight, you have a little cutscene you can watch, but if you go back to hub, you can skip it as soon as it starts. This game has a skip cutscenes button, but it doesn't apply to all cutscenes. And the cutscenes that it doesn't apply to can be skipped manually.
Yeah, in later patches they made the skip cutscenes skip slightly more. But we have to play on 1.0 because it has some exclusive skips. So they might be doing different levels here. I'm not sure what order Fuff goes in. It doesn't actually matter which level you do first. Yeah, Fuff's going to do Golden Vault. So he just did a sprint double jump. That is a technique where you release the sprint button and you jump immediately after, and it lets you conserve sprint speed while being able to do 2 jumps. And then he used that in order to take fall damage and then do the duplication on that ticket. So he actually did the duplication twice, got all 4 tickets, and that's the Golden Vault.
The level that John did is called a Time Rift, and these levels are inspired by and are similar to the secret levels you find in Super Mario Sunshine. They're pretty linear, and he did some skips there to help speed things up.
Yeah, they also rely a lot on the platform cycles. There's a few rifts that you'll pretty much save time in increments of a few seconds. So now they're gonna do the level that they didn't do. We'll see if John gets the double dupe. Yeah,
Nice.
he got him too.
Got it.
They're both on pretty good pace right now. John got some extra pawns. They each need 100 pawns after this level because they need to be able to unlock Heating Up Mafia Town. The pawns in this game can also be used to buy badges, potentially, but in any percent, we only use it to unlock levels. So John seems like he's ahead by a few seconds.
Yeah, still holding that lead pretty well.
Maybe a 6-second lead, but he also got an intruder alert, which you're pretty much guaranteed to get. You get one after, whenever you get a CD from the roulette, after your first CD. And the only way to avoid it is by getting no CDs at all. So John's probably gonna get a CD later and lose those 3 seconds.
So what Fuff is doing right there, he just did a death warp. If you get the faucet and then fall in the lava and die before the audio cue appears, you can just go ahead and go back to spawn, and that saves some time having to run across the map.
Yeah, and Fuff's actually doing a slightly different route from John. John got an extra faucet at the beginning, while Fuff is gonna get that faucet last and do a different type of warp. So that Fuff's route should save like 5 to 7 seconds, I think, if he does it well. But we'll see what actually happens. Yeah, so he's going to
Looks
use
like
the brewer hat here to hit that without setting his stuck warp position, and then he's gonna get stuck and get warped to the top. That was a bit slow. I don't know if it worked. Oh yeah, okay, he's good. Now looks like they are tied again. So yeah, that was Fuff's time saved from that round.
John's still holding the lead though by about 3 seconds. And now both runners will be moving on to the next chapter, which is Subcon 4.
Doing Bazaar first.
Oh no! Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Might be.
You actually don't have to. They both have 7 timepieces, which would be enough to unlock Subcon, but it's more like tradition at this point to do Bazaar now. This is the second time rift they're gonna do. This one's also kind of cycle based. At the very end, there's a SDJ that you can do to make it onto the last rotating platform. So with that, you'll pretty much always get the same time if you make it. Looks like neither of them actually went for it, but
oh, John missed it, and that will be giving Fuff the lead.
That wasn't too bad of a time loss because he did have that checkpoint, but pretty unfortunate.
Yeah. He only missed it by a few inches, it looks like. Overall, they're still pretty close, and many things can happen later in the run that can spice things up a bit.
Fuff is now talking to the cooking cat. He got a relic earlier in Heating Up Mafia Town, and now he's going to get his second relic, and this is going to be used later to unlock Mafia of Cooks, which is a purple rift in Mafia Town. That's part of the new route. But now they are in Subcon Forest, which is the third chapter of the game. We'll get to why they're doing that second later. But Fuff is going for bag skip, which is using a sprint double jump in order to skip over Snatcher's bag trap. Looks like he's going to get it. Yep.
That was a very smooth bag skip. John's going for that too. Looks like he messed up the setup a little bit, so he'll be going back and trying again.
Those 2 times it looked like he didn't get the sprint double jump off the last branch.
Yeah, this trick is definitely precise and is pretty easy to mess up. John could just do it the intentional way, but it looks like he'll be persevering and keep on trying. Alright, looks like he will be going for the intentional bag skip. Just skips this 30-second cutscene or so. And then after that, you talk to the Snatcher, which takes a bit longer. Yeah, it's just a lot of time that could be skipped.
Yeah, it would save 30 seconds, but he lost quite a bit of time failing it. Pretty unfortunate. So Fuff's gonna have a pretty big lead now.
Fuff just did a Cherry Warp. That saves him from having to go back to the hub and selecting an act again. So now he's just gonna go ahead and do the Subcon Will right out the gate.
Fuff just did a cutscene skip there by using his camera in a good spot. I actually don't know how it works, but it saves like 3 seconds. You trigger the cutscene as you go into the well, and that lets you just skip it. They're going to be skipping most of the ponds from here on out because with this route, as opposed to the old one, they need 50 fewer ponds, and you can just get pretty much all of those by playing the game, basically. They're just in your way.
So you'll see Fuff just going in a completely unintentional route, which is why this level is really fun to do. That was pretty quick.
Yeah, these guys have some pretty great movement.
So in the cutscene that Fuff was in just a minute ago, you can dive at the start of it and get some distance towards the timepiece, which saves a bit of time. So for these next few acts, Fuff will be entering it through different acts. Coming up, I think, I'm not sure what route he's using, but for Vanessa's Mansion, you can just go right to it from mail delivery service or another act.
Yeah, I think here he's going to do mail delivery first because he's going to need the toilet contract. That's one of the few acts. This and the toilet require the actual contract to be able to do because they have special events that happen in the forest.
Mail delivery service is the only act in the game where it's definitely faster to play it with keyboard and mouse, merely because of the aiming aspect of it. It's inverted on controller, and you want to aim with a mouse instead of a thumbstick.
Yeah, this game lets you just seamlessly switch between controller and keyboard, so it's pretty efficient to just use the mouse here. He had the timepiece. Basically, as that cutscene played, he was inside the timepiece, so he was able to use the contract being on the screen to exit the hub. And that saves like 4 or 5 seconds versus having to wait for the full timepiece animation. I believe now he is going to do toilet or manor. Yeah, he's going to do toilet now. This is another boss, and just like the Mafia boss, it has a quick kill.
And that was discovered just a few days ago, this race. Which is pretty cool.
So he waited for the toilet to disappear, now he just changes his graphics settings, and that makes the toilet fully disappear, beating the level. And he did the contract thing again there. I think he's going to do manor now. And he will also enter from toilet. Because he does not have Queen Vanessa's manor, the contract for it. But this is close enough. And it's faster than actually getting the contract.
So yeah, there's no barriers or anything preventing you from accessing this area, which is really convenient for us. And this mansion in particular is going to be skipped, thanks to a very special thing we can crawl into. That'll be explained more in detail as we get there.
In the meantime, I think John's gonna do toilet quick kill right now.
Yes, he will be going for it. So Queen Vanessa's mansion is a 2-floor stealth level where you have to basically evade an evil queen who wants to destroy your soul. But if you crawl in this hole in the basement, you get taken straight to the attic where you can just go up and grab the timepiece.
That's a developer-intended skip.
Yes.
John also getting the toilet quick kill. Seems like he's around 1 level behind. So like 1.5 minute difference right now. And that's all due to the bag skip. Fuff is now going to do the rifts in this chapter. There's 2 of them. 2 blue rifts. We pretty much always want to do these levels because they are extremely short.
There's some pretty cool movement you can do here to get on that structure early. He also did a DSJ.
Triple jump, actually.
Oh, triple jump.
Yeah. There's DSJs, which is when you sprint jump as you go off a ledge, and then that gives you a little bit of time to do a second sprint jump to get more height. And then there's the triple jump, which is basically a DSJ, except you let go of sprint in between the inputs, and that lets you do 2 jumps after the initial sprint jump. And that's like a bunch of height. That strat saved like 1 second. It's pretty precise.
Pretty clean execution by Fuff in that level. Meanwhile, we have John finishing up the mansion, taking the same skip we talked about previously.
So once again, he's entering a different level. He can enter from Manor now because he has beaten the level. Doesn't need the contract, and he can use that to get into the Pipe Rift.
This level in particular is... Oh, yeah, that was pretty
We'll
rough.
see how he handles this.
I was about to say this level is pretty cycle-based, so if you make a mistake in the early parts, it can really mess up how you access these later parts. Hopefully it works out for Fuff here.
This is one of the... I think it's the only rift in any percent that uses the hook shot.
Yes.
The hook shot is a really useful item, and Chapter 2, the chapter that they have not done yet, has a level that requires the hook shot. So that's a very big reason why they're doing this chapter first. Fuff is now gonna do the finale of this chapter. This is also new to this route.
This level also has the best boss fight music.
Yeah, I love it so much. So you can actually hit Snatcher when you're not supposed to be able to. And that lets you beat this fight significantly faster than you would normally. There's just a certain spot and angle where you can swing your umbrella and get hits. And that also depends on your screen resolution, except it's easier in 720p. Yeah, I think Fuff's actually not playing in 720, so it's slightly harder for him to do this.
Yep, and the fight's over. Just has to go grab the timepiece after some dialogue here.
Please have a seat.
So you get to be BFFs with the boss that you just defeated. This is the best part of any percent.
Yes, this cutscene right here. Be nice and have fun. John's also going for this boss quick kill. See how fast he gets it. He switched to 720p, which is going to mess up the stream a little bit, but it's going to be well worth it for him.
I'm curious if he is going to switch back.
I hope so. Then they'll have to recrop the timers and
It is
everything.
possible to soft lock or crash your game if you try to switch back during Snatcher. There's a way to do it without losing time, but yeah, it's risky like that. Fuff having a little bit of trouble there. He did
That's a-
manage to build a hamburger, though.
Nice, tasty hamburger.
And he's going to be able to eat it in Mafia of Cooks, coming up later this race. Stay tuned.
Oh.
Seems like John had a better fight than Fuff did. I
He
think
got
Fuff
that pretty
lost
quickly,
seconds. Yeah.
and he did switch back. Nice.
Yeah, you can switch back there without losing time because the cutscene just keeps playing, even while you're paused. And he didn't soft lock, so shout outs to John.
So now, both the runners are going to be going to Chapter 2, Battle of the Birds. This chapter is basically revolving around the conductor and DJ grooves who are competing for Award 42. And every act in this level is like a movie set, pretty much, which adds for some pretty creative theming here. This level is supposed to be a stealth level, and you can skip many parts of it, which is pretty interesting. And you can't be seen by the penguins or the owls, or else you'll get sent back to the last checkpoint.
So it looks like Fuff made it around safely.
Yeah, he didn't get terminated by the Terminator.
That last penguin is quite cruel.
If that last penguin sees you at all, you will get sent right back immediately. No leniency there.
We need to give you.
That was a very good Deadbird studio. I believe that Fuff is now going to do Murder on the Owl Express. Oh, we'll see. Once again, another place where it doesn't really matter the order that you do the levels in, but people just tend to do Murder on the Owl Express first. This is another, it's one of the movie levels. Casually, if you were playing this, you would go around and try to collect evidence, because your goal is to discover who the murderer is on the train. But in a speedrun, there's a pretty big skip about halfway through, and also you don't need to collect any evidence, you just need to get to the end, so won't be too long. This level is pretty similar to the train sequence in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. And apparently also like Psychonauts. Never played that game, but it's what I've heard.
Thousand-Year Door and Psychonauts are Jonas's favorites, and Jonas is the creator of the main director and creator of the game. The lead of Gears for Breakfast.
So Fuff is now going to hit this button early. You are not supposed to be able to get up here, but he does anyway. Now he's going to go through this door backwards compared to how you're supposed to do it. That causes this cutscene to just respawn you, because there was supposed to be a cutscene there, but instead it just puts you back to where you were at the start of the room. And that key, I don't think is actually meant for the door that he's going to be using it on.
No.
Yeah, quite a few sequence breaks here.
It doesn't matter what door you use if you have a key. It applies to pretty much all doors, which is pretty good for this level here. It's a speedrun. And since he didn't get any evidence, he only have one option, which is the conductor. And the fun thing about this level is no matter who you pick, it's always the correct answer. Each suspect has their own unique ending.
Yeah, when I played casually, I was convinced that it was the crows, because they were talking a lot, being very suspicious, and then when they said that it was the crows, I was pretty convinced that I was right. But no, everyone's right.
So Fuff is doing a level called Picture Perfect, where your mission is to become the most popular diva in the world. And you do this by talking to penguins, taking pictures, and running around and having fun.
Yeah, this level is pretty non-linear. You're just trying to get enough points, and you can do it by really getting to any of these penguins or the endorsements. What you should have noticed, though, is that they went to that endorsement, the other one first, and then they got this dog. This dog is normally a part of a different endorsement, but getting the other one makes it spawn early. So Fuff is now gonna do Gallery. This is one of 2 time rifts that are actually in the spaceship, and we're gonna end up doing both of them.
This level has a pretty cool cutscene abuse you can do here, which Fuff is about to do. You just go up there early. There's another way you can do it, where you actually die and trigger the cutscene while you're not on it, technically.
Yeah, he's doing quite a few double sprint jumps here. "27 Gallery is very good.
Very impressive.
So in the old route, they would have gotten a train rush in this chapter, and then done the big parade, followed by the moon rift, followed by the fake award ceremony. Not actually doing the real finale, but then after that going back to Mafia Town. But since they got Snatcher and Toilet, and they're going to be doing Mafia of Cooks, they can actually skip parade and the 2 levels that it would unlock. So we will not be seeing the world's greatest level, unfortunately.
It's very sad that we're not seeing it tonight.
I will say, though, the run's pacing is much better without parade.
It's basically a 4-minute long auto-scroller for the most part. But it was a fan favorite among the community. Lots of fun memes and everything thanks to it.
It actually had some of the most strat development out of any level, which is pretty funny. So I think Fuff's gonna do Train Rush now. He's saving this level for last in this world because each of the act levels causes a finale fill-up animation. That was not the right level.
Yeah.
Anyways, when he actually enters Train Rush.
A little too far to the left there, unfortunately.
Yeah, that menu kind of scrolls a bit as soon as you mouse over it, so you can make that mistake. Almost did it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying, if you end on an act level, it will skip having to see the finale fill-up animation, because he won't have to revisit this telescope after this.
Train Rush is a classic speedrunning level. It's been a core part of the game since the beta builds and speedrunning builds. It's really fast, it's linear. Overall, very fun. Lots of cool strats in it that will be showcased throughout.
Yeah, this is one of the few levels that's just non-stop movement. Fuff is going to run off here and land on this platform early. So now when it goes up, he can just jump off of it right away and hookshot. It's only like a 1 or 2 second time save, but those add up, especially in a level like this.
They really do. If you slide off the button there, you can position yourself right where the timepiece is, so as soon as the cutscene ends, you spawn right inside it, get it instantly.
Yep. He made the ice hat there just because there was a cutscene. He won't actually need it until later, I think in mailroom. I'm not sure if he uses it earlier. I don't think so, though.
Is mailroom still part of the route?
Yeah. It's really short, so
Yeah.
even with all the yarn, it's worth going to.
So, looks like Fuff will be doing a purple rift in Mafia Town. Just going back there briefly for that. These rifts are different because, unlike the blue rifts, you have to collect pawns along the way. And these levels are also themed a little bit differently, and this level was a part of the pre-release speedrunning build. It's very fun.
Yeah, the music's pretty chill too. These levels are awesome. All the purple rifts. You have to collect these tokens. Is that what they're called? I don't know.
I don't know what the official term for it is.
But yeah, you need a certain number to move down a floor each time. So there's some variance in potential routes because there's more than enough. But they're just going to get the fastest ones.
Fuff is gonna have to be careful not to get canned by the Mafia. You'll see they're throwing little tin cans around, and those can really throw you off pace if they hit you.
Yeah, a different runner named Pulsar. who
Shout out to Pulsar.
PB'd, I think today got got hit by a cannon in this level and fell down. It was furthest snipe I've ever seen. So to beat the game, you need 25 timepieces, and then to do finale, which is the last chapter. It's just one act. I don't know how many timepieces they have. I think they have 23 right now.
I'll have to check and see for sure.
I believe they just have to do cheating the race and mailroom. And John
Yeah.
has to finish up Mafia of Cooks.
So in cheating the race here, you're not technically supposed to do it this way. You're supposed to use a hat called the time stop hat. But if you're really fast, you can just do it without it. But oh, see if Fuff can still get this.
I think you got it.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
One of the cool things is that the game warns you that you do not have the required item for the level, but it still lets you enter and do it. That also means you can enter Train Rush without the hookshot. So if there is a way to potentially skip that somehow,
That would be a game changer.
yeah, maybe. They're also going to be doing finale without a required item as well. So we'll get to see that.
Oh no!
That was really scary.
Those birds have so much knockback if they hit you.
John falling down there. Some parts of Mafia of Cooks are pretty tricky.
Here we go.
So Fuff is now entering the finale, and this level is very, very broken, the first half of it especially. And if he messes up, John can easily get the lead back, depending on, what happens. And this level is one of the main reasons we play on 1.0 as opposed to the current patch.
Yeah, that's because on 1.0 you can skip over the wall, or the fence thing that lets you enter finale. Normally you would need to get the Dweller Hat, which would require 12 yarn, but we are able to just skip it by going over this fence and then skipping the Dweller Hat requirement in the actual level.
So yeah, we'll just wait and see how Fuff does on this upcoming section.
Fuff could still 44 with this run. No one has gotten a 43 yet, so that would be pretty good for a tournament match.
Especially. So yeah, you can just go through that little hole in the wall there and get out of bounds pretty easily. And then you can do wall jumps up a little section in the corner there. And then once you get on the ceiling, you can basically just slide down the side of it. And while you're doing that, you have to avoid certain lips coming up pretty shortly. And if you hit those, you'll bonk and you'll fall down. You have to do the whole thing over again. And they are pretty easy to avoid, but they are also easy to mess up at the same time.
Yeah, and there are times when you'll just bonk for no reason. Very rare, but it does happen. Finale is a dangerous place.
It really is.
So you saw he avoided one there by just moving slightly right and then back left. That's the second one. Now he's gonna avoid the bigger gap. Looks like he's good.
Oh, dude, John just got almost destroyed by a bird, but he was able to ledge grab back up. That was amazing. Oh, and he got hit again.
Looks like he was killing a lot of birds.
Trying to play it safe. Oh, that really sucks. But it looks like Fuff successfully made it to the mustache fight. All he has to do now is clip back in bounds, which is fairly easy to do. There's a trigger outside on the side here.
Yep.
And now begins phase 1 of Mustache Girl. A cool thing you can do here, you can get multiple hits at once, and Fuff will be trying to go for that as much as he can here.
The double hits happen if she throws timepieces because it makes her jump up and down a bit, and also if she does the purple underground attack, because that one can just get skipped every time. So there's a bit of luck with the attack order on that, but it's not too significant, at least compared to some of the luck we'll see later on in this fight.
Also, the stream will be especially blocky during this part, thanks to the bitrate. There's not much that can be done because the background is just a changing mess of colors.
Yeah, that is very bad for compression.
It looks much better in-game, though, let me tell you that.
John's entering finale now.
So this upcoming part on Fuff's side is pretty much RNG based, pretty much luck based. The number of cherries you get is random, unfortunately. Looks like Fuff is getting pretty good luck so far. how many cherries he needs to use here.
Yeah, on this phase you can also do double hits. You can do them if there is an underground attack or a shockwave attack.
That was an amazing 2 cherry on Fuff.
Yeah. Pretty good luck. I think this can still be a 44. But it's very close. Not sure. Actually, maybe not.
No, he just hit 44.
Well, it'll be a high 44, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll
Maybe
see.
not. I am not the expert in finale times. Yeah, I think he can barely get it.
Yeah. I'll see how it depends on how fast he does this part here. Might be possible though. At this part you're given infinite health, so you don't have to worry about dying in this section.
Yeah, so Fuff pretty much guaranteed to win the match. Unless his controller dies or his power goes out.
That'd be very convenient at a time like this. Very inconvenient. Ooh, this
Just barely
might...
missing before. Yeah.
Yeah. Still,
I think it might
very
have been
well done run by Fuff. Low 45 is a very good time in this game.
Yep. That's 45 seconds off his PB, I think, but...
So yeah,
you know,
Fuff is officially the winner of tonight's match.
he did what it took to win.
Yeah. We'll see if he wants to come in here for an interview or not.
So despite the runners being so good, this was actually a losers bracket. Fuff got sent to losers in the first round because he got DQ'd from his first match for saving and quitting to the menu because he accidentally got a black screen off a roulette exit. So Fuff's moving on to losers round 4 to play Patwa. The greatest hat in time losers run of all time.
Yeah, John is doing pretty decent here on Finale. We'll have to see what his cherries are like. My commentary stream is buffering a little bit.
Yeah, same.
Not sure what's going on.
I think John may have PB'd if he had gotten first try back skip. Actually, would have been close.
So now John's moving on to the final phase of the fight, so he will be finishing pretty shortly. This looks like it might be a mid 48, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Which is still really good. Yeah, using the cherry hat, the brewer hat in this fight is very useful because it gives you a long-range projectile, and you can use it whenever Mustache Girl flies up into the air to throw down timepieces. Helps speed things up a little bit. And John will get a 48, 46, 7? 48.
It's not a bad run considering the contractual obligation split he had. Besides that, it was pretty good. Pretty unfortunate that that happened, but
yeah, mid 48, especially with the failed bag skip that set him about a minute behind. That's still pretty good. Hello, John.
Sup?
How do you feel about your run?
Bag skip pun occur.
how do you feel about Snatcher and his evil trap?
He's evil. Which trap? You mean the bag?
Yeah,
Horrible.
the bag.
God. Everything else was pretty okay except for like train rush, I guess.
Yeah, you played pretty well overall.
I just lost like 2 minutes to bag skip.
I will say though, Mafia Town was absolutely amazing to watch because you and Fuff have like the same loads and you were
Yeah.
Oh, really?
synced up the entire time.
Near perfect sync. It was beautiful. Just beautiful.
How did
Anyways.
Fuff's run go?
You have any other comments you'd like to make about this match or anything in particular that the audience should know?
I can't believe that bird got me at the end.
Oh my god. The Elvis birds just can be brutal. Gotta love them.
I got nothing to say.
Yeah, anyways, thank you for playing.
No worries.
It was a fun match to watch. If
That's
you
good.
wanna check out more Hatton time, you can view the schedule. You can view the bracket and the schedule in chat by typing !hat.
Yeah, we might be going to winner's bracket again after a few weeks. So, because we've been waiting a few weeks, but we're gonna get some real good matches soon.
So be sure to check out tomorrow's match. That will be June 8th. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. That will be Patwa versus Waterbird on Speed Gaming 5. And then the next one will be on June 10th at 6:30 p.m. EDT, which will be me versus CFS8 or CFSM. That will be both those races will be interesting. Unfortunately, Fuff was not able to interview tonight. We just have John here. But thank you for watching, everyone. If you have anything you want to say, Wolfer, before we head out?
No, not really. Said a lot. Thanks for watching.